a result of some of the organizational changes that Ed talked about and the process improvements that Carol has helped us with, the rate of learning that we've had has increased dramatically. So I wanted to just take a few minutes to share with you just some of the lessons that we've learned over the last several months. One of the most important things is previously we didn't have a strategy around what are we going to test? What areas should we be focused on? Really, we just tested a bunch of pages. We figured the more pages that we test, the more winners we'd have and the quicker we would be able to improve our site. But when we started sharing information with each other and talking, what we realized was our most successful tests tended to be on the same few pages in each country. And we realized, there are only a couple of pages or a few that have the biggest impact on our customers' experience and their likelihood to buy. So we established these few key pages as a focus area, and we realized it'd be better to test those over and over in an iterative way rather than just cover as many pages as we possibly could. Second area that we have become very focused on is cart and checkout. So our cart and checkout pages are probably less than a tenth of the traffic than our most trafficked pages. But obviously all of our revenue goes through cart and checkout. Even if we look at customers who go through checkout or go into checkout and don't buy, these are still very high quality customers. We think that's especially true for Dell because we have a very involved purchase process. Many of our customers will spend a lot of time configuring a system, choosing just the right components and software, peripherals, accessories, and so forth. So by the time they get to checkout, they're pretty invested in this process. And they're obviously very seriously considering buying. So what we found is even small things that we can do to improve customers' experience and improve the clarity of the process go a long way towards helping those customers who might abandon to go ahead and finish the process. So we've seen a lot of success. Our best winners over the last several months have been from cart and checkout. And finally, targeting is our third area of focus. The reason why we're interested in focusing here is quite simple. It very consistently works for us. We find that anytime we are able to find to tailor an experience around customer needs and show them relevant content, they're going to have a better experience and they're going to be more likely to buy. So it's helped us a lot to have these areas of focus to be aligned around that throughout the world. But there's more to it than just knowing where to test. You have to know what do you want to do? How do you actually improve the customer experience? Clearly, we need to be thinking about what's the customer's intent, right? You want to help the customer accomplish their goals, but that's a lot harder than it might initially seem. We all have customers that are different, that vary quite a lot from one another. And a page that might be perfectly designed for one set of customers might not be appropriate for another set of customers. And I'll use Dell to illustrate this point. We have a lot of customers who are pretty brand loyal. When they want to buy a computer, they plan to go to Dell and find their system and buy. For these customers, they don't really need a sales pitch, right? They just want to be able to easily find the system that's right for them, hopefully find a good deal on the site, and make it through as easy as possible. But then we have another set of customers. They're open to buying from Dell, but they're also open to buying from one of our competitors. For these customers, they do want reasons to buy Dell. They want to know why they should buy Dell instead of from our competitors, and they want to spend a lot more time doing research, interacting with content on the site to learn more about the products that we offer. So for these customers, what they would really like from one of these pages high in the funnel is very clear navigation. Help me find all the content that I need to make an informed decision about what I want to buy. So you can see, these are pretty different concepts and very different types of customers. Now, I suppose we could test pages like this against each other, right? So just run an A/B test and see which one comes out on top. And if we did that, let's say we did that, and the page that's designed around our brand loyal customers comes out on top. Let's say there's a 3% lift in revenue per visitor. sounds pretty good, right? And normally you might think about, okay, well, let's go ahead and do that. But there's a lot more to it than that. The truth is, or the truth might be there, that we have a 10% lift for our brand loyal customers. But for our customers who want to do a lot more research, that page might be 7% worse, right? So you can see here that what we really should be doing is providing a targeted experience for each customer so that everybody gets an experience on the site that is right for them. So ideally, we would form a targeting campaign and give the right content to both people. So one of the things that I recommend that you do, if you are doing any type of testing today, A/B testing, always do additional analysis. Look into the performance of segments. I mean, even on a test that maybe has flat results, you can do some analysis to show there's a segment of customers where that new recipe actually did perform really well. And so a simple A/B test, maybe even that fails, can turn into a very successful targeting campaign. And I just wanted to give a really quick example of a very simple form of targeting that we do. This is an example from our homepage in the United Kingdom. When a customer comes to this page for the first time, they see a rotation of banners across all of our whole product line. So they'll see consumer banners, they'll see business products here as well. But if you browse into, for instance, our home site, and then come back to this page, whether it's in this visit or in future visits, and many of our customers do take many visits to make a purchase, then you'll see only those products that are relevant to you based on that segment. So if you went into home, you'd see home products. So this would rotate through other products that might be relevant for home users. However, if you went into the small and medium business segment, we would show you business products. So this is just a way for us to try to get the relevant content in front of people, and perhaps when they come back to Dell.com, they see a product line that they're interested in, maybe a product offer that is compelling to them. So just shows the point of focusing on providing the relevant content to customers. So one of the biggest things that we have improved upon over the last several months is what we do with a successful test. So in the past, if we had a successful test, we would implement the winning recipe, have a very short celebration, and move on to some other idea. We now realize that we were missing out on a huge opportunity to drive even more value out of the test that we run. So now we do a couple of additional things every time we have a test, even a successful test. Instead of just analyzing the test to see what recipe performs the best, we'll do additional research and see if we can't find some way to improve upon that recipe. So even for a test that is successful, if we do more analysis, we can find that there are some things about the design that might not have worked exactly like we had anticipated, and we might find a way to improve that. One example of that was early on we had tested the addition of a trust mark in our checkout process. And we had some good success with our first test there. But instead of just implementing that and moving on to some other idea, we decided let's test some new trust marks. Let's test different locations and see if we can really optimize this for our customers. And ultimately, the solution that we ended up with had more than twice the lift of the original successful test that we did in this area. So it was well worth the time that we spent to refine that and really continue to improve upon that. So that's the first thing that we do. The second thing we do, and obviously from this map you can tell, it's going to be expanding this globally, right? So taking the idea and making sure that if there's an idea that works in one region, take it to the other regions, whether that's from the U.S. to other markets, or it can work the other way around as well. So same thing happened with our trust mark test. We ended up testing this throughout the world in every region, and we saw good success with it wherever we tested it. So what this really showed us, and what we've learned over time, is to view testing not just as a standalone test. We really view it now more as an iterative process for creating a global solution to a specific problem. So we've done better at learning from successful tests and getting more out of them, but we've also done a lot better job recently of learning from our mistakes. And clearly, if you are involved in testing, you know you probably have more losers than winners. But there's a lot that can be learned even when things don't work out the way that you had intended. This example here, we had a very simple concept of testing a simplified cart experience. So hypothesis here we thought was pretty sound. We thought customers would improve a simplified cart with as little text as possible. So what we did is we designed a test where we removed anything that we thought might not be absolutely necessary. And then we ran an A/B test. And we were pretty confident this was going to work. Much cleaner design. So we were a little bit surprised and disappointed when the results came back, and it actually didn't perform better than what we had before. Then we realized we changed so much on this page. We're not really sure what it was that worked. Which content did we remove that was helpful? We didn't really have a way of knowing the impact of each of the things that we did. Now, in the end, I think we got lucky because we did some additional analysis and we were able to find something. There was some browsing behavior by customers here that could have only been caused by one of the things that we did. And it actually was the smallest thing that we changed on this site. We had moved the Continue Shopping link from next to the Continue button at the top of the page down to the very bottom of the page, the bottom left. And this caused lots of problems for customers who wanted to go back and add new products to the cart or maybe go back and do more research. They had no choice but to hit the back button. Unless they found that link, they'd have to hit the back button, or there's a Dell.com link at the very top of the page, and that's just not a great place for people to be going. So it caused all kinds of problems. We were actually able to fix it because of that. But as a result, so we learned two things really from this test. And the one from that point is you need to make sure that everything you're doing on a test is consistent with that hypothesis. So the reality is that change that we did with the Continue Shopping link really didn't have to do with simplification of the page. We didn't really remove any text. We just moved something. That was a separate hypothesis. That had to do with, is Continue Shopping a distraction for customers who are going through the checkout process? Not a bad idea maybe to test, but it should have been its own test. It should not have been part of this. So you need to keep hypotheses separate and test them individually. And then clearly the other thing is when you are changing as much content as what we're trying to change here, you need to test it in such a way that you can tell the impact of each of the things that you're doing. So that means either doing a multivariate test, an ABN test, or perhaps a series of tests. So again, this test, this reiterated for us that we can't view these tests as standalone. It really does need to be an iterative process of fixing the site. So all these things I've talked to you about today, just small handful of things that we've learned over the last several months. But I assure you that we've learned way more from our mistakes than we have from our successful tests. So one of the things that I would encourage all of you to do when you're analyzing tests, don't just look for what's the winning recipe. See if you can't learn one or two additional things in the test that will help you learn more about your customers for segmentation purposes, or help you learn how to design a better test, or just how to design a better site in general. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to invite Ed to come back up and give some closing remarks and give us a few announcements as well.
So what are the key takeaways from our presentation? Actually 5. The first thing, first is people, right? So invest more if you don't have enough. And I would agree, everybody, doesn't have enough people. And second takeaway is hold yourself accountable. Be brave. Go to talk to your finance best friend. The third thing is to start to build the business process right now for the testing program. It's not just an option. It's a necessity. And you need to start now. And please don't talk to Carol and say, hey, can you come to work for us? No. Yeah. But the important thing, you need to assign somebody in your team and start to build the process, right? And the number 4 is very key to us. I'm not sure for your organization is scalability is really important. Whenever you can take one idea from one country to the other, from one business to the other, try to leverage that. It's really, really important. And the last thing, as Dave just pointed out, failure is the same valuable, is as valuable as successes. So make sure you communicate. So now I'm asking everybody in my team, make sure we communicate all the failures, unsuccessful tests, or inconclusive tests, just the same way as we communicated a winning test. So where the future is going to take us? I don't really know. But what I know is we'll start to embracing a new culture at Dell. We are, treating testing as a new religion, quote, quote. We want to bake testing into all the Dell.com projects from the beginning to the end. We want to execute all tests very rigorously with clear, defined goals and process, and never compromise. And we will share the result, regardless good or bad, to our business. And how long is it going to take us? I don't know either. But like Jim Collins said, it takes 10 years for Einstein to figure out this. It probably take us many more years to figure out how to become the best-in-class testing company in the whole world. But I think we'll get in there slowly but surely. So with that said, I have two exciting announcements I want to make here. The first one, as you may already know, at 11 o'clock, we're going to give away a Dell Streak. It's a very exciting new form factor smartphone hybrid with a tablet. So hopefully you can win that. The second announcement I want to make is we're going to host a WA symposium in our Round Rock office at the end of January with WAA. The first symposium was hosted in Seattle in Microsoft Office. It was a huge success. So here, I'm warmly welcome everybody to come to visit us. And this is our beautiful campus, our beautiful capital, and also Lake Travis. I'm pretty sure you're going to like it. So thank you so much.